Yo, what's going on guys, it is Tom and welcome back to a brand new video and round number 16 or episode 16 of Zero to Hero here on F1 2015. As you can see, we are here at the beautiful New Mexico circuit, and what a race this is going to be, I can tell you already. I'm looking forward to this one. It's always a track that, because of the pit straight, you can always create loads of overtaking, and obviously the massive overpowered DRS zone that is the front straight, you can just really create some great races. Now I'm looking at our setup quickly. You can see that we've applied the upgrades from the last race. Now obviously here we're going to look and try and continue our good momentum at the moment and try and see if we can possibly try and win a race. I believe we've only won like one race all season, believe it or not. So yeah, we've been getting a lot of second places, so it'd be nice to maybe win a race this season. But overall, you know, Mexico's a track that I actually quite enjoy driving. It could be a little bit better in some sections, but overall it's a pretty decent circuit for a tilt track. And yeah, we're going to get into this race now, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can try and get a result like I said and try and add a couple of upgrades to the board, because there's only 2 more races left after this one. So it's getting to crunch time now, and here we are. We're going to get up to the 5 red lights for the Mexican Grand Prix, and we are underway, getting a pretty decent start off the line here, getting through the gears nice and easily, and we're now going to power down into the first corner, trying to pick up some slipstream here, because obviously the run to the first corner is so long here, you can literally gain so much slipstream and try and make an attack into the first corner. As we now pull to the inside, going up the inside of both of the Manners, and can we possibly try and get Jenson Button there? No, we can't. He's a little bit too late on the brakes for us there, but we're going to try and go around the outside of Harrianto here through turn 2. We've actually been caught on Harrianto's car. There's been contact. We've hit the side of Alonso here, and we've got a couple of problems here at the Mexican Grand Prix. The first chicane already, and looks like we're going to have a bit of a tangle with Harrianto and Alonso here, so a bit of a strange incident, but nevertheless, resuming back onto the action. Harrianto now, he's on our right hand side. We're going to get the edge on him on the straight line, but Harrianto, incredibly, is going to try and hang around the outside, but he can't really make it stick. However, he does run straight back up the inside of the next corner, and Harrianto here, who doesn't actually have a driver in F1 anymore in real life, he's actually really giving us a good old battle here at Mexico. And just quickly looking at a replay of that incident, you can see now Harrianto's in the middle, Alonso on the left, and myself on the right. And look at that, he just gets squeezed there, and unfortunately, I think it's a bit of a racing incident. I was a bit disappointed that I did get collected by him, but you can understand it's probably a racing incident there, so fair enough. But moving later on, you can see now we've caught back up to Harrianto, and now we're going to just walk past him on this short little squirt in the power before the stadium section, so we eventually get past Harrianto there. So finally a good move from us up into P18, and we're now going to hunt down his teammate Pascal Wehrlein here. So as you can see, now going onto the start of lap 3, DRS is now enabled, but we're going to try and pull up the slipstream, go to the left hand side of Wehrlein there. A bit of a different sort of route, but you know, I decided to go for the left hand side for a change, and we make the move there on the young German driver. And we're going to move onto the start of lap 4. We set the fastest lap of the race here, so quite a good sign that we've got some good pace here in this Ferrari already early doors here at the Mexican Grand Prix. And look at that, we just walked past Jenson Button with some DRS there. Literally no competition whatsoever with the former world champion, so literally such a simple move on JB there. But moving later on to the end of lap 4, we're now right on the back of Verstappen, who's had a horrible race so far, way down in P15 or P16 now, as you make the move around the outside, or sorry, the inside, and then becomes the outside on him there through the stadium section. And Verstappen there definitely having a pretty poor race. He must have had something wrong in qualifying. But later on lap 5, we're now on the back of Felipe Nasr as we go through the S's here. We're probably the best section on the track, you know, such a nice flowing section. But we get alongside Nasr here. Can we try and go around the outside to the braking zone of the stadium? We try to turn in, but Nasr's having absolutely none of it, and he hangs it up the inside, but eventually he's got the outside line for the slowest corner on the track, and he just has to back out from that move because there's no way through there for him. So overall, we make a nice easy move for P14 there, and we're now making solid progress, you could say, through a track that is, you know, a fairly short lap with not a great amount of corners. So if we just keep overtaking like this, we should be in good stead for the rest of the race. Now as we get past Danny Kvyat here, as you can see on the exit of the S, is making a nice easy move on him. And moving on to the start of lap 7 now, we're on the back of K-Mag and also Marcus Ericsson now. These two obviously going at hammer and tongs, and also I think Palmer and Sainz up ahead. But we're going to try and make a move around the outside of Magnussen here, which will become the inside for the exit of the chicane, and we make a nice simple move there on the Danish driver, the former McLaren protege, and we get ourselves up into P10. So we're into some points for the first time this race, and we're going to move on to halfway through lap 7. Look at the run we get on Marcus Ericsson there, walking past him through the S section. So a nice simple move on him there to get us up into P9, and they're making great progress so far, getting past these cars like a hot knife through butter. And literally later on that lap through the final corner, we decide to pit now because we're going to come in for our first stop of the race, and our rear tyres are absolutely toasted around here. So we're going to come in for our first stop of, I believe, a 3-stop strategy that we're doing here, and I'm going to roll the dice here. I'm going to go into the prime tyres, so a bit of a different strategy, but as you can see, the front mechanic's a little bit slow there, so maybe Vettel might have just had a pit stop himself. But We're going to come in for a set of medium tyres, and we're going to try and go a bit longer on this middle stint, and then hopefully we can run the options a little bit later on and try and have some bit better pace later on in the race. So as you can see, we're going to rejoin the track here, some pretty clear air just ahead of the Force India just behind us there, and we rejoin quite comfortably in, I believe, P15. So moving later on onto the start of lap 9, and we overtake a couple of cars who are in the pit lane, and we're going to try and pick up some slipstream here from Julian Palmer, who's just left the pit lane himself, as you can see, and we was obviously battling for position with him 2 laps ago, so we haven't been able to undercut him. However, we are right on the back of the British driver now, and we can't make the move into turn 1, but can we possibly try and get him maybe into the next couple of corners here, as we get a great exit on our nice warm tyres through the chicane, whereas Palmer's still in his cold soft tyres, and we're going to go alongside Palmer here. Can we try and go around the outside of this left hand here? It's going to be a bold move if we make it stick, but we are going to go for it, and what a nice move that was, literally clean around the outside. We swooped around the British driver, and what an overtake for P9 there, and that gets us in a good position now to go and hunt down Carlos Sainz, who later on lap 10, as you can see, going through the exit section, we get a great run through the exit, and Sainz actually has a really poor exit, so we get alongside him and go up the inside of the right hander before the stadium section here. Sainz still trying to hang it on the outside, but eventually has to back out because it's a very narrow section of the track there. So we're now into P8, and we can try and hunt down those cars ahead of us here as we now go onto the start 3 and straight for the 11th time this race, and hopefully if we can try maybe make this strategy work. Obviously these medium tyres are going to come in clutch for us and try and hopefully be a game changer in terms of the strategy, but unfortunately we've got to focus on the action in hand here, as now Sainz is not done with us yet, and he's going to try and re-overtake us now down the pit straight. As you can see, with some DRS assistance, and Sainz goes right to the inside there to try and defend the position, and also Magnussen's trying to get in on the act around the outside. Look at him there, just trying to make a move around the outside, but he runs in a bit deep and gets to the corner completely wrong, running in way too deep for the braking point, and has to back out of the move for the time being. However, the very next up later, we're actually going to respond to Sainz by giving him a taste of his own medicine, by overtaking him with some DRS, by flying up the inside of the first corner here and making the move nice and easy, running out nice and wide on purpose to make sure he does not keep his nose stuck on the outside there. So we make the move and retake P8 from Carlos Sainz, and later on lap 13 you can see Hulkenberg, who was just about to overtake him, but he bails into the pit lane for his second stop of the race. Obviously those on the option tyres are going to start pitting now. Obviously we're on medium, so as you see, we actually took the lead of the race eventually after everybody did their pit stops for the second time. So we was actually out by ourselves up front, just doing our own thing, and there's Rosberg, I believe, just flying past the Hamilton. I'm not sure who it is, but one of the Mercedes already overtaken us there, so we're almost a pit stop down. So we've got a little bit of work to do here this race as we go on to a set of options now, and it should be options to the end, I believe. You know, I'm struggling a bit with tire wear around here, but it shouldn't be too bad to get these to the end. So that's going to be the plan of action, and we're going to try and do a couple more stops and go to the end on options now. So we're going to rejoin just behind, I believe, Jenson Button, and also I want to say that's Nico Hulkenberg. So we literally, Hulkenberg, if you remember a couple laps ago, he picked just ahead of us, so he's managed to stay ahead of us by undercutting and going a couple laps earlier on those tyres. But later on lap 18, look at this, the grip on the option tyres, we fly past Nico Hulkenberg, and we're now going to try and fly past Jenson Button, who's holding Hulkenberg up here, and he pull off a double overtake in the space of like 2 corners there on those two. So a fantastic double overtake on the pair of them to get ourselves up into P7 and not lose any sort of time whatsoever. And we move all the way onto the end of lap 25 because literally nothing else happened, and we've actually caught up to Daniel Ricciardo now. I believe Daniel Ricciardo's got the same idea for strategy as us. Now I can tell you the options wore out much quicker than what I thought, so I've decided to roll the dice with strategy and go back onto the mediums and drag these out to the end. And I can tell you Ricciardo's doing the exact same thing here. So Ricciardo and myself are going to be battling to the flag, and this is for a net position, so me and Ricciardo are going to be battling to the end on these tyres to try and possibly win the race. Now I think we're going to rejoin a pretty good position here, just in some clean air, just behind Ricciardo, and that's indeed the case. And we can see we're in P7 at the moment, but obviously the top AI cars have another stop to make, whereas me and Ricciardo are going to the end. So me and Ricciardo are technically first and second, I believe, as we make the move on Ricciardo now. We use some DRS down the pit straight, we fly past the Honey Badger there to retake P6, and that obviously, like I said before, because everybody's pitting here, it means we're going to retake the net race lead on lap 13. As you can see, we've got the remaining cars in the pit lane, including Nico Rosberg, who's now the race leader, our championship rival, and we get past him to take the lead of the race now. But moving on to the final lap of the race, our tyres started to go off. I can tell you now, we're really starting to struggle with some grip, and Nico Rosberg on the much fresher medium tyres, he actually gets past us in the pit straight with some DRS there, and as you see, he literally just makes such a simple move, but we're not having absolutely none of it. This is for the championship. We're going to try and dive one up the inside of turn 1, but Rosberg just has the edge on us on the brakes, but we get a much better exit through the chicane here. Literally, we set ourselves up for a perfect exit, and we actually breeze past Rosberg without even having DRS here. Rosberg, though, does have DRS, and he's staying to the inside. I'm going to squeeze him as much as I can to the inside there, running in a little bit deep on the brakes on purpose to give Rosberg the room, diving one back up the inside of the next corner here, but Rosberg still just has the position on me, and I can't get past him, and we're going to cut on now to the final sector here on the final lap. Can Rosberg try and win this race, or can I win the race? Into the stadium section for the last time this race. Nico Rosberg's on the outside. I'm going to dive one up the inside off the first corner of the track, giving him a little bit of contact there, barging him off the racing line, but Rosberg just gets the traction on me through the exit of the corner there. I'm going to try and switch back through the final corner, but my rear tyres are just toast, and it looks like Rosberg's going to come across the line to win the Mexican Grand Prix. And once again, for not the first time, I believe he did this earlier on in the season, he snatched the win from us right on the last lap there. So Rosberg really doing what he had to do there, and he snatches the win from us right on the last lap. And once again, we finish in second place, which I believe is literally where we finished all season long, second place, just behind Rosberg. So, you know, Rosberg doing the job there, and he literally had to do what he had to do. Obviously, my tyres were really worn, and his were much fresher than mine. So Rosberg obviously get past me quite easily. But if I had new tyres and a level playing field, I could have probably got the traction to try and get at least alongside him for the pit straight for a photo finish. But that was the Mexican Grand Prix, and I hope you guys did enjoy it. We're now going to look at the final race results here, and looking at them right now, as you can see, Rosberg obviously won, myself in second, and then Ricciardo managed to bring home a brilliant third place, and then Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel in fourth and fifth, and those two were 1 and 2 right early on in the race. So those two really dropped through the field there, and it's actually their respective teammates who came out on top at the end of it. So a very disappointing race for those two. And just looking further down, both Williams there in the points, also Max Verstappen, who managed to get 8th in the end after a terrible start. Remember, he was way down in P16. But looking at the Drivers' Championship, we're 11 points behind Rosberg now, so 11 points behind, and we've got 2 races to go in Brazil and Abu Dhabi. So we've got a lot of work to do here to try and overturn that deficit. I mean, you're going to need to at least win the next 2 races, and Rosberg comes second in order for us to win the championship. But looking finally at the constructors, we're still 5 points ahead of Mercedes, so it's going to be absolutely perfect for us, and that's going to be beautiful. We can try and maintain that gap to the end of the season and try and bring home a constructors trophy to Maranello. But that has been the standings, and we're now going to look at the permutations real quick. And obviously, as you guys probably will know by now, second place does mean 2 spins of the wheel, so that's exactly what we're going to do right now. So we spin the wheel here for our 2 upgrades that we just earned in that race, and let's see what the first one is. It's going to be the front camber, which isn't too bad. That's one that we haven't got, and we're now going to move to the second one. Let's see what we get, and it's looking like it's going to be the rear camber. So we get both cambers there for the car, so that's going to be 2 pretty decent upgrades for the next race in Brazil. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and if you have, then please do leave a massive thumbs up on the video if you did enjoy it. And also, if you're new around here, please be sure to subscribe to my channel for more F1 content, especially F1 2016 content in the near future. And also, like I said before at the start of the video, if you want to get a cheap game code for F1 2016 or any other game that you may fancy, then go over to Kingwin and go check that out by clicking the link in the description down below. But nevertheless, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in my next one very soon. Goodbye.